become so comfortable in their new residences that they are in bed with the state authorities in their respective state. In the past, when issues like this are raised, and particularly when they can be proven, INEC leadership in the past is known to have quietly used administrative mechanisms to change and to redeploy. This INEC insists, the more you complain about the compromised officer, the more the INEC leadership is determined to keep the officer. I will only give one example. An officer in the South-South, in a training program for INEC, choose to use the governor's special assistant to superintend over the training process. How can our brothers and sisters in Akwa Ibom State have confidence when the process, the recruitment, the training, the deployment of the ad hoc staff is done between the INEC rec and the government of Akwa Ibom State? What we are expected to do as a people is to point out anything that we see that we think will be unhelpful and respectfully draw the attention of the appropriate authority. As we speak, that problem persists. We have now known, I can put my hand on the Holy Quran, that INEC leadership knew that they were going to postpone the election. They shared this information with the People's Democratic Party and advised them not to waste their resources, while pretending to us that they are on top of the situation. Anytime you raise observation, they are on top of the situation. But actually, as we now know, they were on top of this arrangement that was meant to create confusion across the country. I think INEC deserves to make explanation to us, not because we are a governing party, but because we are a major player. Whatever information INEC conveyed to PDP, they ought to have conveyed it to us. And Mr. President, what INEC is doing in collusion with PDP is to get PDP to be shouting the word INEC chairman removed, the word INEC chairman all sort of fake attack, that the word INEC chairman go. If you ask me, I will say, as APC chairman too, I second secondus. I have no difficulties in seconding secondus to have a new INEC chairman. If that is what we need to have a credible election. But this is fake. It is a fake posturing. Because in truth, when I listen to secondus talking about removing the INEC chairman, I listened to PDP rep at the briefing, Chidioka, and he was busy commending and congratulating INEC for the courage. If we commend people for courage, for canceling what was meant to be, what do we do when they are successful? So all of this shows the contradictions and this other delay. Mr. President, it will be such a tragedy if at a ruling party, we cannot complain of being rigged out. And yet all the early warning indicators are there that this INEC leadership is up for a game. Number two, and this is more worrisome, there are strong suggestions that there are elements in INEC that are working with anti-democratic forces to gradually, week after week, move on to a situation where elections may become impossible having regard to the provisions of the law. In which case, those anti-democratic forces that are calling for interim government will appear to be winning gradually. Mr. President, it is time for us to assert the authority of state and direct INEC to do what they must do. And they don't do it, they must be persuaded to understand that there are huge, huge consequences. Whoever will preside over Nigeria must do so on the basis of one man, one vote. Those who want shortcut to power must be identified and flushed out. Mr. President, the primary purpose of today's meeting is not to lament all of the incompetencies of INEC, the mischief that we have seen, the collusion in many quarters, and the double-speak that characterize their briefings. Much more important than that is that we have called this meeting to give our people hope and renew our commitment to democracy, our renewed commitment to free, fair, and credible elections. And the way forward for that is that we must now go back with the additional cost that it entails to renew the campaign. And again, INEC wrong decision to attempt to amend the law through mere administrative pronouncement, namely to the effect that campaigns are frozen. Mr. President, INEC is not in a position to make laws. The laws made by our parliament are superior to the opinion of INEC chairman, with all due respect to his office. The extra provisions of the law is clear. When you postpone election, and it has happened before, the law says you are entitled to renew campaign up to 24 hours before the date of election. It didn't say that you will stop election on the 15th of February, regardless of when the election will actually take place. When elections stop is determined by when it is expected to commence. Therefore, as a law-abiding party, we will proceed to re-energize our members, to renew the campaign, and to encourage them to come out in huge numbers. Because PDP being professional in election rigging, they know that, and I'm sure Amici can share this with us, they know that you are...
He's not a member of PDP.
No, he withdrew from past experience. From past experience. He has always told us now, he's been very honest about it. He's a Catholic. He confesses like, even though he's not that, he confesses to people who are not priests. No, the point I'm making is, you know that when you have a low voter turnout, that is when election rigging is most easy. And voter turnout and voter apathy can result from the confusion. If at our level we are sufficiently disturbed, what will be the fate of the ordinary man? I think we need to remind them across the country that election has been scheduled and they should have trust, they should have faith, they should remain determined to vote. The process of doing that will require that we return the campaign for between now and Thursday this week. And Friday is not the campaign day. To ask us as a political party not to go out. The members, our people would have forgotten, so would have assumed that, look, I'm not sure what these people want, and the result could be very, very low turnout. That is not good for a party that has huge support base. It can only be good for a party that is not sure of its level of grassroots support. So without consulting INEC, we are proceeding, and we are ready to meet them in court because they cannot, by administrative fiat, amend or distort extra provisions in the relevant Electoral Act. And those laws are not secret to INEC.